the Credit Mix today, where credit and finance meets news of the week. I'm Sandra Bernardo, Manager of Consumer Education.
And I'm Kerrie Roberts, Manager of Social.
So we know a lot of you are planning for tomorrow, Valentine's Day, hopefully doing something special with your sweetheart. But if you are going to go out and maybe have some margaritas, it might be very expensive because there is a tequila shortage.
Right. Isn't that crazy? I feel like we've been hearing about all these different alcohol shortages. First it was like the wine due to, climate changes and vines not producing, what's needed as far as the intake in the world. And then now we have tequila.
I know. So that was coincidental. So it's because of a shortage of agave.
Right.
And in fact, the price of the plants increased from 3.85 pesos, because most of them are in Mexico, obviously, to 22 per kilo over the past few years. That's
this is what I find interesting, though. So I feel like the reason is like an error on just not planning enough. Because it says that basically like how it takes 7 to 8 years for the plant to actually mature to be able to be like used. So in 2011, they only planted 17.7 million plants. But we need 42 million to supply at least to the 140 like registered tequila companies, and so it's like, is it just because we didn't plant enough? So we're doing it to ourselves?
I don't know. I think the farmers are having probably a hard time just being able to keep up, especially because you're working on the current crop, maybe planting new ones, and it takes so long, and then just the intake. Especially because agave now obviously is used for other things, just the syrup.
That's true. I have the agave nectar.
Right, the nectar and all of that. So it makes more usage of it, I guess. And the exports of pure tequila to the U.S. jumped almost like 200% over the past decade. So the demand has been increasing more than they can just manage.
Now, I don't know if mezcal is also from the agave plant or not. I know it's not like tequila, but I think it maybe is from agave too. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like I like mezcal, so maybe I'll just drink that until. I mean, if we do happen to release, where it's like scarce in the stores for tequila,
right.
I'll just drink a smoky margarita with mezcal.
Right. Well, I wonder how much the prices will change and go up. So something to check out, whether it's in the store or drinks, at the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just something interesting going on. And another thing that we saw in the news that we wanted to talk about, because we know a lot of people are making money or having kind of a side gig using Airbnb.
Yes.
I've used Airbnb, as a rental, which I've really enjoyed. I've done it in a couple of different countries, in fact, not even in the U.S., but I did it in Spain, and it's such a great option.
I love it. I mean, I've done it tons of times. I just did it, 2 weekends ago for my birthday in Palm Springs here. I've done it with friends before many times. I have friends that own properties in other cities where they pretty much, do majority of it is rented out, with Airbnb, and then, they'll go on vacation for maybe a week or two, but most of the time, the rest of the year, it's all Airbnb.
It's a good gig. I mean, the average amount, just, with everyone, right, is about $924 a month that people are making off of it. Now, you have some people that are making, thousands and thousands, or just a few, but sort of averaging out, it's about $1,000, so that's not bad a month as like an extra income.
Well, yeah, especially too, I feel like, especially if a portion of it maybe is like supplementing maybe that second mortgage, on that home that you have there. And so imagine if you had something that was like totally paid off and you're just basically just raking in that additional every month. So that's
a great investment. And so what we read about was that actually there's a new initiative with Fannie Mae to let some mortgage lenders consider that income if you wanted to refinance your home. So, before you always had to declare the income, but I was reading that if you only rent it out for a very short amount of time during the year, so 14 days or under total, you actually have no tax on that.
Oh, really? Just all straight income. You have to just don't worry about reporting.
Yeah, you don't have to report that. But of course, if it's more, then you do. But you can always deduct your operating expenses, of course, because it's kind of like a business.
Right.
And so this new initiative, will allow banks that didn't consider that income before. Now they can use that as part of their total income on their application.
Well, that's great. So then maybe it'll help them to even qualify for maybe more or better, and then who knows, maybe they can use money for that refinance to actually maybe like do repairs on the Airbnb or your own home or whatever it is. So that's great.
And the ones participating, the lenders are Quicken Loans, Citizens Bank, and Better Mortgage, if you're interested in checking that out. You know, there's always opportunities to improve your mortgage. If you refi, you get a lower interest rate maybe, or shorten the term. So a couple things to think about. And yeah, a lot of people, I mean, about 34% of people have some kind of Airbnb business renting out. So
that's huge.
That's huge. I'm sure it'll grow too. So something to look into. And you know, we've talked about side gigs a lot too, so I think that that's always like an option. Even like, in your own home, renting out, just if you have an extra space.
It is. I'm telling you, I you know, mentioned to you before, I have a friend who she actually rents a place, and when she's not there, has Airbnb'd it, where she essentially is making money. I mean, we live in an area that's, you know, coastal, and she's a flight attendant, so she's gone, you know, sometimes, and so people want to have like a little vacation weekend, you know, by like the beach, and they rent her place, and she's just making extra cash.
And that's so great, especially for someone who's a flight attendant like that they're always on, you know, on the go and not at their lodging.
Exactly.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So something to check out. And speaking of, you know, getting that extra income, what are you going to do with that income, right? So we've talked a little bit about 401ks before and investing and all that, and there was an article just reiterating again about the retirement crisis, because not enough people are participating in the 401k that if they have one with their employer, but a lot of people work at organizations that don't offer that opportunity.
Right.
So there's actually an initiative by these two labor economists, and one of them is the president of a private equity firm called Blackstone. And so they created a plan, and they're trying to promote this plan. It's called the Guaranteed Retirement Account.
GRA.
So it's so quasi-government, right? And it actually is a mandatory 401k.
That's excellent. That's so great. I think there's a lot of opportunities for people, like you had mentioned, who don't maybe work for large corporations or even small ones that don't offer a 401k or any kind of a match or anything like that. And I think nowadays when people are working for like maybe smaller tech companies or smaller things like that, maybe it's just like, you know, 10 employees.
Yeah, like startups.
A little startup. And so maybe they don't have that opportunity to actually save, and maybe you're not even in the mindset thinking like, oh, I'll be okay, I don't need to save. But in essence, like, you really need to start very early.
No, you do. I mean, in fact, a lot of small businesses, only about 14% offer some kind of 401k, and we know that a lot of people work, you know, for small businesses.
Right.
Nearly, you know, and people are worried, nearly 50% of workers fear running out of money in retirement, right? So basically this plan would be, like we said, mandatory, and you would contribute 1.5%, and then your employer would be mandated to also contribute 1.5%.
Right, 1.5%.
You have the option of, you know, contributing more, but that would be mandatory. And so the government would sort of manage this, and they would have the you know, personnel to run it and be managing the portfolios. Right. So it'd be like a national program for everybody. And, you know, it really sounds kind of like a good idea, because Social Security is not going to probably cover
Isn't it
your
something
lifestyle.
where it's like 20%, something like that?
Of your lifestyle.
Of your lifestyle, right, that Social Security would be able to cover. So that's definitely couldn't be your only source of income.
Right,
you know,
right.
In during that time.
Which it used to be like 40% that it would cover. So that's at least like almost half. I feel like that would be more manageable for people.
Right.
Yeah, now it's only 20, and they always say that it's going to drop even further. Our generation might not even be able to tap into Social Security, which is really scary.
Well, thank goodness for 401k.
Right. And I mean, we're living longer, so that's part of the problem too. And it's just, you know, it's hard to save, but it's really important to try to put away as many dollars as you can. And, you know, we have a lot of articles about 401ks and investing and other types of budgeting and saving topics on our blog. So make sure to visit Experian.com/education. And we'll shout out this article actually about the Guaranteed Retirement Account, because it's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting.
And they've already been lobbying for it, and it seems like it has bipartisan support for it. So who knows, maybe it'll actually kick in. And then now with tax time, it's a good strategy to be putting money into your investments if you want to, cut back on what you may owe or to get more of a return back. So if you have an IRA, for example, you can open one actually. You still have time to do that to qualify for 2017. So
yeah,
that's
definitely.
always a good, tax time strategy.
It is.
And we have some more information about that as well. You can always check out our blog, like I said. And I think that's it for today.
That's it. Start saving for retirement.
Yeah, start saving for retirement.
If you're not already.
And if you have any questions, always, feel free to shout out to us during the show, or you can use the hashtag The Credit Mix. And again, we take questions throughout the week, and if we can try to answer it, we will do so with our Ask Susie segment. So feel free to send those, and we'd be happy to try to help you out.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us today, and I hope to see you next time.
Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
happy
tomorrow,
Valentine's
right?
tomorrow.
We already have our chocolates
Yeah, we're
here.
going to dig into this right now.
Have a great week,
Bye-bye.
guys.